Oh, hi. I didn't see you come in there. Welcome to Chemistry Theater. Today we will be talking about psilocybin, which is commonly found in psychedelic mushrooms. The molecule of psilocybin is comprised of four elements: phosphorus, carbon, hydrogen, and, not last but not least, oxygen. The molecule of psilocybin is soluble in water. It's found naturally, occurs naturally in the wild in mushrooms. But what's really interesting about psilocybin is its ability to induce high content hallucinations. The molecule of psilocybin is soluble in water, occurs naturally in the wild, but what is really interesting about this molecule is its ability to induce high content hallucinations. While recreational use of psilocybin mushrooms did not become popular until the 1960s, the earliest recorded use of the substance dates back to 1500 BC. In northern Africa, ancient cave drawings depict mushroom creatures, which indicates that ancient tribes used psilocybin mushrooms in their culture. In Mexico, the Aztec Empire saw the mushrooms as sacred and used them in a variety of rituals. When Cortez claimed the Aztec Empire as a Spanish colony, the consumption of the mushrooms was banned. Many descendants of the culture continued regarding the mushrooms as holy into the 20th century. In the 1930s, an anthropologist named Robert Weidlander participated in a healing ritual called Velada in Mexico. He witnessed participants in the ritual ingesting mushrooms and experiencing high-content hallucinations. He proved the existence of psychedelic mushrooms, which before then had been subject to long debate. When he sent them back to the United States, the mushrooms had decomposed and could not be studied. Later, in a 1953 mycology study, R. Gordon Wasson and his wife Valentina Pavlovna studied the use of mushrooms in another Velada healing ceremony performed by Native Americans in Mexico. The woman who ingested the mushrooms to receive prophetic visions allowed for the ceremony to be recorded. The ritual lasted 8 hours long and predicted the sick boy being treated would die. After seeing the results of ingesting these mushrooms, a pharmaceutical company began extracting the chemical responsible for the hallucinations. What they found was psilocybin, which when enters your brain turns to psilocin, which is what causes high-content hallucinations. Now you see, when psilocybin enters acidic state like the human body, it breaks down into the chemical psilocin, which has a chemical structure almost identical to that of serotonin. When it enters your brain mistakes it for serotonin, and it plugs into the receptors that the serotonin would normally plug into. This tricks your brain a little bit and can cause hallucinations. High content hallucinations. As we move into the days of my youth, the 1960s, people across America started learning about this psilocybin mushroom from a publishment of Life magazine depicting the amazing new drugs. The United States said it was dangerous, and nobody could do it anymore, which ruined all the fun for everybody. No research could be done on it either. By 1977, all research on the drug had stopped, and it had just been classified as a dangerous drug, a scary drug that induced high-content hallucinations, which resulted in bad trips sometimes, causing high anxiety and fear in the users. Like with any drug, just because it's illegal doesn't mean that people stopped doing it. People started beginning to pick them themselves, running away from authorities, sneaking out into the middle of the night to try to find these psychedelic mushrooms on the side of the road. Take this instance of this one person having an average trip, as you might say, out in the woods.
Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to Strawberry Fields. Nothing is real.
However, later that day when he went inside, he began to take more mushrooms, getting more trippy. And he began to experience some pretty scary, high-content hallucinations. Despite all the controversy surrounding psychedelic mushrooms, research has shown so far that the only permanent damage it can do to you is psychological. See, it doesn't actually melt your brain in the same way that its, synthetic counterparts LSD and acid do. It actually just induces high content hallucinations. In fact, it's virtually impossible to overdose on the substance. You'd have to ingest 37 pounds of mushrooms to overdose on it. Now that's just impossible. In conclusion, psilocybin is a very misunderstood drug in my opinion. It is less dangerous than its counterparts of LSD and acid and can be used to treat such disorders as depression and take people on self-called spiritual journeys of conscious expansion. So good night unto you all.